Hello everybody, welcome to Also Rusty Buckets. I am in extreme pain because I am so goddamn sore from working out 3 days in a row. Luckily tomorrow is my rest day, but I'm so sore. So sore. I didn't realize the elliptical was such a pain in the ass workout. I thought it'd be simple, like this is what middle-aged women do when they go to the gym, but apparently I'm a middle-aged woman because this shit wiped me out. But anyways, unrelated tangent. Subscribe to the channel if you are not already, and drop a like on this video if you are not already. If you haven't dropped a like on it already, I suppose. Today, just 3 games. I almost always go for watching 3 games, but then I just end up watching 5 or something. But today I watched Thunder versus Hawks, Timberwolves versus Suns, and Hornets versus Lakers. This should be a hopefully short episode, but I find a way to say that at the intro, and it ends up being 15 minutes. But first game I want to talk about, right out of the gate, is Thunder versus Hawks. The Hawks are now, and let me pull it up on the NBA app, because I think it's a 9-game win streak. That could be mistaken, and I'm making them seem better than they have been. They're in a 7-game win streak, and they're 8-2 in their last 10. They're now the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference because the Hornets just lost a game to the Lakers, which, spoiler alert. So the Hawks are completely figuring it out. They're now solidly in the playoffs, and I was worried about this with the Bulls because they jumped the Bulls rather quickly. And now with the Pacers and Raptors on the Bulls' heels, I'm feeling like playoffs this year really ain't going to happen. But anyways, for Thunder versus Hawks, I knew that the Hawks were having a streak, and I just haven't watched a lot of their games recently, so I was like, I have to watch them. So I watched the Thunder game, expecting it to be a bit of a blowout, and while it was a blowout, the Thunder did put up a good fight in the second half. In the first half, it was a downright blowout because Shea was 1 for 8 at halftime. He just could not score. Jerome, interestingly, picked up some of that slack. He ended up finishing this game 5 for 6 from 3, somewhere in that ballpark. This is one of the better games of his career. I know he was drafted by the Suns, and he wasn't really good in his rookie year, or maybe second year, somewhere in that ballpark. Same expression. But he was very good in this game. Also, what's his name? Theo Maldon. His first name's Theo, right? I'm pretty sure it is. He had a very good game as well, and I know a lot of Thunder fans are excited about him, so shout out to him. One guy on the Thunder specifically that I wanted to talk about, though, was, I think it's Alexei Pokuchevsky. That's a very fun name to say, Pokuchevsky. Now, I don't think his box score in this one was particularly impressive, but he made a couple of passes in this one that I was impressed by. He had one where he jumped to the basket, and then he was hanging in the air, and he didn't really know where to go with it, and he just dipped it off to Al Horford, who did a quick hook out of it, which was a nice pass. He was 2 for 11 from the field in this one, so that's not good. He is definitely a project player. He is very, very skinny, very, very skinny. In fact, I actually want to look up how much he weighs, because he's 7 feet tall, but I'm pretty sure he's 180. Alexei Pokuchevsky weight. Wow, they really spelled that perfectly. He's 200 pounds at 7 foot. That's actually not as bad as I thought, but you watch the guy, man, is that kid skinny. But anyways, other than that, he has a lot of upside. His 3-point shot, I think, can be a real thing, and he's a very good playmaker. He can put the ball on the floor at 7 foot. He has the eye for a nice pass. He had the one with Al Horford. He had another assist as well. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about him. As for the Hawks, though, back to them. So the Hawks, they're figuring it out because, one, Bogdanovic is back. Bogdanovic, he had 23 off of the bench in this one. What was interesting, they were starting Tony Snell over him, who, by the way, one of the most underrated players in the league because he's shooting 57% from 3 at the moment. He had that game winner the other day. But they had Bogdan come off the bench. He scored very well for them. Gallinari did not score well for them off of the bench. So it was nice to have Bogdan come in. But this team, when they're healthy, they're going to be good. And right now, they're not even really that healthy, and they have been good. I mean, the 2 biggest additions are on the team now, and that's been a big part of them winning. But Chris Dunn being back would help, and even then, DeAndre Hunter was huge for them to start the year. And he has not been back. He was averaging 18 points on very good shooting in his first 18 games of the year, something like that, while playing good defense. But anyways, that was that game in general. Now I want to talk about Timberwolves versus Suns. Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns combined for over 80 points. This is a game that I was fully expecting to make the title of this video about because I was expecting the Timberwolves to lose this game. But as time went on, I was like, they kept up fighting. The Suns got a decent lead around the third quarter area, but like they kept fighting, they kept coming back, and that's what's particularly frustrating about this Timberwolves team is that they have the talent. Like even after what's his name, Malik Beasley goes out because of off the court stuff, which I said that last time I talked about him. I don't know the fullest extent of what he did, so I just said it briefly of just off the court stuff because I don't know the details. But it's some pretty fucked up stuff to my understanding, so that's a thing. But Jalen Noel, who was like their guy who they drafted a second round a bit ago, and I remember actually some guy asked me what I thought of him. I was like, I don't know, man. He's a second round pick. I don't. But he's been good. He's had a couple of mid range pull up shots that he's done. He's been a very good 3-point shooter, and he just plays smart. He was good in this game. But Anthony Edwards, I have to talk about him because this is, I assume 41 is his career high, unless I missed something. But 41 points in this game. He was doing damage at pretty much every area of the court. He did have one play at the start that bothered me, and it was like a criticism of him that I put in a note, but then he ended up dropping 40, so I don't know how much I can point it out, but I will just say there was a play towards the start where Edwards had Cat on a pop, but then he forced a bad drive instead, and it wasn't even like he didn't see Cat. He saw Cat. He just drove instead. And that's the thing with Edwards is he doesn't really seem to have an issue with vision. It's just he really likes shooting the ball, as you can tell from his 15 shot attempts per game as a rookie. But Edwards with 42 points in this one, 7 rebounds, 15 for 30 with 31 shots. Okay, that's a part of it. He was putting out the threes. He got to the line a lot, which is something that he could definitely do as a big guard, so it's nice to see him do that. He was 8 for 13, though. We'd like to see better than that. But very good game from Edwards. Cat with 8 assists. I saw some tweet the other day, even though I'm suspended, I'm still able to look at Twitter, and it was like Cat would average like 8 assists per game if his teammates hit their open shots, and that's pretty true. They hit their open shots today, and this team just played well. As for the Suns' end of things, Devon Booker was making shot after shot. Mikal Bridges with the playmaking in this one. He finishes with 8 assists. I knew he was playmaking well. I don't know he got 8. He had one dish at the very start of the game where he jumped in the air and then Devon Booker cut and he found him. And then a similar play late game, he caught the ball on the baseline, jumped up, and then suddenly that freed up DeAndre Ayton, who was cutting towards the basket, and he dropped that pass to him. So very good. That has to be a career high for him, right? I think it has to be. DeAndre Ayton with just 14 points. I might make a video on DeAndre Ayton because he's a tad disappointing thus far. Also, I wanted to point out Langston Galloway. He's a player that I feel like should get more minutes on the Suns. I mean, what they're doing is fine, so I can't criticize too much, but he played good here. 10 points, 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3. He, in general, isn't getting a lot of minutes, but he's like one of the most efficient shooters in the league. I'm actually going to pull up his three-point stats. At least the last time I checked he was. He might have had a dip. 46% from 3 on 2 attempts per game. So I feel like he should be getting more opportunity, and he's not. Other things on the Timberwolves side of things, I don't think I have too much. Also, I want to say every time I talk about the Timberwolves is that is it Jaden McDaniels? I'm pretty sure it is, but I have to check because every time I miss a name, people roast me on here. It is Jaden McDaniels. Okay, this guy might be the power forward of the future because he is a very good defensive player, which is exactly what you need next to Cat. And then while he was 1 for 5 from the field today and 0 for 3 from 3 today, he has shown signs of being a positive shooter. I don't think his total stats are great. I mean, 36% on 3 attempts as a rookie is pretty good. So seems like a perfect 3-and-D power forward, and I think he'd play a little bit of small forward as well to pair next to Cat. I feel like he should be starting over Vanderbilt and Jake Layman. I mean, Vanderbilt started, but he only played 8 minutes. I don't know if he got hurt. I might have missed that. But even then, it seems like in general, McDaniels is the guy who's finishing games for them. So don't know why you don't just give him the start at this point. But yeah, like the Timberwolves have the talent. They just need to put it together. It didn't help that Cat got injured this year, and then they haven't seen much of D'Angelo Russell. But I like a lot of people are like free Cat, but I'm like they just need to be healthy. They just need to be healthy and get it together because they have the talent. Now they do. Past couple of years, the free Cat thing was perfectly valid, but they have the talent now. They just need to put it together. Also, even though Edwards had a good game today, he needs to shoot the ball a little bit less. But other than that, A very good game from the Timberwolves. Suns side of things, they really didn't have that many mistakes. It's just the Timberwolves outplayed them, which is not something you typically expected. The Suns, I think, are still the second best record in the league or somewhere in that ballpark. I keep saying that term, but the Timberwolves just played a better game. Also, I do want to say, Chris Paul, I feel like he needs to be more aggressive when this team gets to the playoffs. Right now, I think he's averaging like 16 points per game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he averaged something similar to that in OKC. But there's a lot of games where he just puts up 10 points, and it's like there's times where your team could use you shooting a little bit more. This game he put up 14 shots, so it was fine, but just a general note about the team. And finally, I want to talk about Lakers versus Hornets. This was an interesting game that I also feel like I have little to say about, which is kind of counterproductive or an oxymoron or whatever. But first of all, I had to talk about LeBron. And also I want to talk about the Lakers without Anthony Davis. So I made a video on like a while ago titled like the Lakers need AD, but really the Lakers needed Dennis Schroeder and to be with LeBron instead of just LeBron, because since they got Dennis Schroeder back, they have been fine. Dennis Schroeder had 22 in this game. But LeBron, he has been coasting a lot lately, and it's made me want to not watch Lakers games because it's just like LeBron's really not giving a shit right now, and I understand it. The guy's 36 years old. I don't know why people are trying to put him in an MVP case when he's literally not even trying to win the award right now. But today, it seemed like he was trying because 37 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 14 for 22, 4 for 9 from 3. Yeah, very good game from LeBron. Also, even though he had 37, what stood out the most to me was the defense. He only finished with one block, but it was a very nice chase down on Terry. He also got a goaltend on Terry, but his defense in this game was so intense. He got that block late against Terry, and then Terry tried to run to the corner after both of them had like fallen out of bounds a little bit, and LeBron was right on top of him and did not let him drive or anything. It was just very good defensive performance from LeBron. And I've seen a lot of people talk about LeBron like making all defensive team, and from what I've seen this year, yeah, he definitely has a case in that conversation. He has turned up his defense to another level. Hornets side of things, first half they could not make a goddamn shot, and I think in general they finished the game with 50% from the field, so they ended up being fine. But the first half, I think LaMelo was like 2 for 8. Rozier hadn't really done anything at that point. Hayward couldn't make a damn shot this entire game, but he also barely shot. He did have 10 assists, so that kind of makes up for it. But I also want to keep saying, like I say every time I talk about the Hornets, keep sleeping on PJ Washington because he's going to be really good. And I just want to be like the guy who was like, I knew PJ was going to be good. He had 18 in this one. But one thing that stood out to me the most with the Hornets in this one that I really want to give credit to is that even though they had the rough start, they fought back because they were down like 15 at halftime. They fought back and got back into the game very early in the third quarter. But then even as there were continuously mistakes or as continuously LeBron just continued doing LeBron things, this team did not bow down. This team did not stop trying to fight. They didn't do enough. They ended up losing, but this is not a team that was discouraged. They didn't lose because they lost the mental battle. This team does not lose the mental battle, and that's a huge thing for such a young team. And I'm a few videos ago I talked about the Hornets, but I really like this Hornets team, and I look forward to when I can get the vaccine so I can go back to games and I can see the Hornets in person because that's going to be real damn fun. Anyways, those were the games today. Damn, I really feel like I killed this post-game recap. Like, I was just on top of everything. I wish I could snap. I don't know how to snap. Don't make fun of me. But yeah, this is a good video for me. So, like it, idiot. That's so mean. But I'm mean, so like the video. Anyways, that's it. Bye.